So, Canelo Álvarez wins the 12-round majority decision over Gennady Golovkin. Now, I've seen so many people saying robbery. Let me tell you my scorecard, okay? I scored this fight 115, 113 for Canelo. Going into the 11th round, I had Golovkin behind by a point. So if Golovkin had won the 12th round, I would have had it a draw. I gave the 12th round to Canelo. Slightly, I thought Canelo nicked the 12th round, which meant that I thought he won 115, 113, like the judges. There was some close rounds in there. There was rounds like the first round where you couldn't pick anyone. And I know American judges don't tend to give even rounds, so you have to give it to somebody. So it's rounds like that. I think the fourth round was a bit like that as well, so were some of the mid rounds. So I can see kind of where you could give it to Golovkin, definitely. I personally preferred what Canelo was doing. I thought he'd done the better work. I thought he was, especially in the early rounds, he was just definitely the sharper fighter. He was landing some good body shots. Golovkin was very jab heavy in this fight. He was getting through with the jab, and I think he buzzed Canelo in, I think it was the 10th round with a right hand, caught him in the eye. But, from what I saw, Canelo was doing more of what he wanted to do. He was landing the more effective body shots. He was landing good effective shots to the head as well. He came forward the whole fight, and if you watch the first fight, Canelo had success in that fight when he was coming forward. He just couldn't maintain it. In this fight, he was able to maintain it, and yeah, I think it really showed. It really told. He was smaller in this fight than he was in the first fight, but I think that served him well down the stretch because he wasn't gassing as bad. He was just. I thought Canelo won the fight. Now, I can definitely see if you gave Golovkin this fight, I have no problem with that. I think that it's one of them fights. There were some close rounds in there, and it just depends on what you like. It's not a case of, me saying it's a robbery or anything like that. I don't think it was a robbery. You can't call a close fight a robbery. I know there's a lot of Golovkin fans who aren't happy. I know Golovkin didn't even give a post-fight interview. He just left the ring. And I know he was feeling kind of upset and dejected about this. But, that's just, it is what it is. I thought Canelo did win the fight. I thought Canelo looked a lot better. And props to both guys. This was a great fight. It was so much better than the first fight. They both raised their games. I really do think Golovkin, he peaked a couple of years ago. I think that a prime Golovkin was the night he fought David Lemieux. I think that was Golovkin at his prime, and since then he's just been slowly getting older. And I think at this stage he's growing out of middleweight, personally. So that's kind of my thoughts on the whole fight. Canelo, he's done it again, and his stock is just going to rise again, as if it's not already high enough. It's just going to go even higher. He's the man who, took Golovkin's over, the great Gennady Golovkin. So, Canelo, he's all the marbles, he's all the balls in his court. There's talk of a third fight. I don't know if I'd like to see that straight away. I think, like I said, David Lemieux versus Canelo seems logical next step to make. I think they will make that fight next, either for December or May. I know they were talking about getting Canelo out in December. We'll see if that happens. I'd suspect more so May of next year. Will be when we see Canelo out next, and I wouldn't be surprised if this time next year we have Canelo Golovkin 3. It's just what Gennady Golovkin decides to do. Does he want to go and fight Canelo again? Does he want to risk another weird decision? Does he want to fight him in Vegas? He's not the A side. Like, this was Canelo's show, so Canelo can say, I want to fight in Vegas, I won the fight, you're coming to me now. So Golovkin, does he want the money, or does he want to get the win back? If he wants the money, I think he'll do what Canelo says. If he wants to get the win back, there's not a lot you can do, really. Canelo is the A side in this, so if Canelo wants to fight in Vegas again, he's going to have it in Vegas again. One thing I found interesting about this fight, Canelo's gloves, he was meant to be using a glove called No Boxing No Life. They weren't approved, so then he said he'd use winning gloves. And for those who've never used winning gloves, they're very soft, padded glove. They're not really a good fight glove. They're a good training glove, not a good fight glove. I don't know what gloves he had on. He just had his Canelo logo on these. They look like power locks, Everlast power locks, but I don't know what they were using. But whatever they were using, Canelo obviously seemed comfy in them. So that's just a little thing to take away from this fight. No, it was a great fight. Definitely worth watching. Definitely worth watching again. But me personally, I thought Canelo Álvarez won the fight. If someone disagrees, that's fair enough. Just keep it respectful. That's it. There's my thoughts on this fight. So yeah, Canelo Álvarez winning the fight. Great fight. Props to both guys. They're both warriors. They both have good chins. Golovkin, he took some good body shots. Canelo Alvarez took some good head shots. Both guys had little cuts at the end, but yeah, great fight. Definitely worth seeing again. And I'd like to see a third fight. I would. I think that a third fight would be good for both these guys, and we'll see what happens. Like I said, I suspect Canelo Alvarez will probably fight Lemieux next. They've been talking about that fight for a while, so again, I say if that fight happens, Canelo Alvarez probably gonna knock David Lemieux out. It is what it is. So those are my thoughts. It's been a good night of boxing, and we got AJ versus Povetkin this week, which I'm going to be covering, which I can't wait. Looking forward to that fight. And we actually got David Price was announced for that fight on the undercard against a Russian fighter, Sergey, I forget his last name. So yeah, so it looks like AJ Povetkin is going to be a good card too. So exciting times, exciting stuff. Those are my thoughts. Leave yours below.